Guys, let's get underway. Um, as I've said before, I think we all know the usual stuff, as we're all come to know. So, the main point for this week, which is the standard weekly different stuff, is we can't be going slowly through the turn 1-2 chicane because that's not a good idea. If someone's coming at speed, I know you're not going to go particularly slow in there anyway, so just don't go any slower than is necessary. Same goes for both Lesmos. You can't go too slow through there because cars coming quick, and they're not. I know they're not blind, but they're very quick, and you can't often see much when you're coming through. Same goes for Ascari chicane. Quick, fast corners, kind of hard to be offline through there at all time, I'd say. So I want people going at a reasonable speed through there as well. And then in qualifying, slow-moving cars are not allowed to overtake each other. After the entrance to Parabolica because we need to leave room for fast cars. And anyway, I think you'll all be coming up to speed well before then to avoid any issues. So yeah, no overtaking. Basically, after about halfway down that straight, I know that's not very accurate, but absolutely no overtaking once you get to the entry of that corner because it's going to get quite dangerous if you're all going full speed. We know how much of a joke it gets here in real life, even looking for a slipstream. So I want very sensible drivers. I know there's nothing written in the rules specifically about minimum lap times or anything, but we can tell when you're going excessively slow to try and get in a slipstream, and we're really not going to be happy if people are doing that repeatedly, especially if it starts to cause incidents. It'll be treated as intentional if it starts to cause incidents, so that's not allowed under any circumstances. Yeah, remember the safety car is going to be the manually driven GT3 as usual. We'll call out all of you now. I'm sure have seen the little messages that I can send out in the chat, so you'll all see them, and it'll all be announced on voice control as well if anything happens. I know one driver, I can't remember who it was, last week had an issue. They were given a drive-through penalty for using DRS when it wasn't allowed, so make sure you're not doing that. But also, if you do get given a drive-through, I know that driver had an issue serving it last week. My best guess to that is that they drove through or slowed down near their pit box, and if you do that, it triggers the pitman to bring the arm down, which means that it's not going to count it as a drive-through, and it's going to count it as a pit stop, even if you don't change anything. So you just need to drive straight through the pit lane. Don't pull into the stopping lane. So the right hand, yeah, it'll be the right hand side of Monza, right hand side of the pit lane. Stay on in the left lane, in the fast lane. No overtaking under safety car course until we tell people that they can unlap themselves, such and such. I want it to be sensible down into turn one. Obviously, you're allowed to overtake each other, but we all know what Monza can be like, so I want people to be sensible into there. We have a reckless driving clause for people braking too late, and it's not the same as causing an incident. It is a bigger penalty, and it is more penalty points. So I just want sensibleness into there. I appreciate everything is never going to go super smoothly into there, but if people just sort of carry their normal speed, not too much, not too little, everything should be relatively easy through there. On the straight, a specific problem here, you're not allowed to weave to break a toe. You're allowed to do one defensive move, so you're allowed to pull away. If they're within 1 second of you, to be honest, I'm going to say within 2 seconds of you, you can't be weaving on that straight because it's going to get dangerous, really. So we're not allowing any weaving, which is also in the rulebook as well. I just want to reiterate that for this week. And on slow laps in qualifying, just stay off the fast line as well, because then it makes it clear for people if they might be hunting for a slipstream that you are a slow car and you're not going to be going again. So just be aware of that. Good luck to everybody. If there are issues in the first half of qualifying, I will readdress all of this and make sure everything gets sorted. But it will also be if you cause an issue, you'll probably get told not to take part in the rest of qualifying, just so everyone else gets a fair run. So thank you everyone for joining us in this briefing. If you do want to rewatch anything or check out anything I said, then it should be on the YouTube channel for you to rewind and go back and look at. And if anyone's got any questions, just drop them in W12 series. Feel free to at me or message me if you really need to get in touch. So yeah, thank you for joining us, everyone. Have a good race.
Hello everyone, my name is Edward, alongside me is Biggles, and together we will be commentating the 9th round of the Anti-Stall Racing W12 Championship for our second Italian race of the season here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. The Monza circuit is a historic 5.7 kilometer circuit located near the city of Monza, which is close to Milan. Built in 1922, it is the oldest purpose-built motor racing circuit in Europe. 11 turns, 7 right, 4 left, and 1 long start-finish straight. Bills, how are you, and what are we expecting from this race?
Speed in the Temple of Speed, my friend. That's exactly what we're expecting. Maybe a few little tangos, say in Rettifedo, turns 1 and turn 2, of course, and surviving through the almighty powerful Ascari is another one that's we've seen in the obviously in the regular, well, in the arcade Formula 1 game per se. I want to see how these cars manage to handle through Ascari, because it tends to, you know, get that last corner wrong and you're visiting the fence.
Yeah, we also have another historic corner, which is Parabolica, and that's such a fun corner to take when you are actually racing in the game. I remember, I'm not such a usual player of iRacing, but when I was racing in Assetto Corsa, I was always enjoying so much going around Parabolica in any type of car, from Formula 1 cars to, I don't know, minis.
There you go. Didn't know that. Learn something new every day. Do you like pineapple on your pizza? That's the question here in Italy.
I don't know, Biggles, do you like it?
Yeah, I do. Because I come from the pineapple state in Australia, so you have pineapple all the time. But yeah, don't mention that here in Italy. It's not a very popular topping at all. They might even evict us from the country if we try to order that up in the commentary box. As the times that we're starting to see at the moment, the 20s have been set there by Hans. First man in, 20s in the practice session that you're currently watching at the moment. 15 minutes and also to go, halfway through the practice session. So is that the sort of times that you'd be expecting around here? I'm not quite sure what the world record is. I think I'm looking at... am I looking at 112?
So the record in Formula 1...
112 for the F1 game, but I'm not quite sure what it is in the real simulator this evening.
The record in the real Formula 1 is 121.0, which has been set by Rubens Barrichello, if I'm not wrong.
Seeing we're in Italy, my friend, I'll get a bit of F1 trivia for you. Which F1 driver races with a picture of the Pope in his car?
With a picture of the Pope?
Of the Pope?
I don't know. It should be Italian, so I will go with Antonio Giovinazzi.
Nope.
I don't know.
Yeah, I do know, actually. I could remember that for a second there. It's the Ferrari driver of Carlos Sainz.
No way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm really curious of the story behind that, because I'm sure that Carlos Sainz has a story behind that.
Yep. Very interesting. I'll mute myself there for a second, for sure. Well, the Spaniards and like that. I wonder if Carlos, that we're watching right now, if he has a picture of the Pope in his car, he's a Spaniard. Roman Catholics, generally, is the majority religion, I think, there in España.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yes, it is.
That was just the trivia of the F1. Did you also know, I got more trivia while we go through the practice session, that during the race, drivers will not often tell their team what's going on in the car over the radio with seats, a seatbelt being loose or something like that. Something a little annoying underneath their feet or whatever, because if they do, the F1 also listens, as you know, to those radio messages, and if they deem that could be a safety violation, then they will pull their men to the pit lane to get it addressed, and therefore the driver could potentially lose all those places in the race. Now, some of the drivers might do that, might have a little bit of a loose seatbelt or something like that, but they're not going to, believe it or not, they're not going to tell them that, because they don't want to lose all those possible positions. Obviously, during practice sessions and stuff like that, they would during qualifying, but not during a race. Quite interesting.
Yeah, I remember in the 2020 Spanish Grand Prix, I think Charles Leclerc has driven without his seatbelt on, because his seatbelt was loose, and then he had to drive an entire lap without a seatbelt on, and that was very controversial, because I remember a lot of people said that Charles should have been penalized, but anyways, if I'm not wrong, it has gone down as as racing, you know, like he hasn't been penalized.
Yeah, that's once again one of the reasons why they don't say it. But obviously, if you're putting your whole safety, if your seatbelt's not even attached or something like that, then yeah, that could be very nasty. Of course, the FAA have to be looking out for that one because, you know, if the driver does, you know, seriously injure themselves or, you know, maybe even killed, then everybody's going to think that the FAA has done something wrong. When obviously initially, they're going to see a death and they're going to think that something, you know, what was wrong in the situation with the safety of F1. So it came down to the team not doing the right job. There was the standings if you'd like to go through those names, because Ed, I know you're very good with these European names.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention also this, the battle in the championship between Alex Seguin and Mark Stevens, 12 points today between the two drivers, but it's one important side of the story today. Mark Stevens will not take part in today's race, so Alex Seguin may take a free 25 points to extend his gap. So Alex Seguin is leading the championship with 142 points, Mark Stevens second place with 130. Luca Wunsch, the driver that has won the first 3 races, 78 points. He's not taking part in today's race either. Hannes Schogel in 4th place, Johan Russell Yo in 5th. We have Radecki Gregors in 6th place. I still don't know if I pronounce his name well because I haven't been here to ask him how is his name pronounced. Wojciech Goszczyn in 7th place, Joe Taberner 8th with only 42 points but 2 podiums, Basquiat in 9th and Elias Sauer in 10th place. Interesting championship. We're still seeing a very, very beautiful battle for this championship between Alex Seguin and Mark Stevens. And I watched the Hungarian Grand Prix with these cars, and Alex Seguin and Mark Stevens, I remember they have collided, so this championship battle has everything.
Yeah, they've tangled in a lot of these tracks this evening, and it's gone one way or another. Unfortunately today, as you said, we're not going to see that classic battle between Alex and Mark that I would have loved to see both those drivers go into turn 1. It would have been definitely maybe somebody's halo, somebody's tire going over a halo or something like that. But at the moment, it won't be that situation. It'll be probably between Alex and somebody else going into turn 1 for sure. And another little bit of true here for you. The safety car is, we do have a safety car driver this evening, but that safety car driver might not be out on track. But, the safety car that Bert Mylander drives in the real F1 probably gets up to about, I think it's about 260 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, no, the safety car is a very fast car, but, you know, seeing it in front of all these F1 cars, we see it as such a slow car, but it's not. Like, they're super fast. And I remember reading about the GT3 cars, and when you're seeing the GT3 cars in the World Endurance Championship alongside the LMP1s and, well, now the Hyper cars, they look so slow, but they are incredibly fast. Like, they go over 300 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, and I have a GTR Skyline before, and that thing, when I got it up to 300 kilometers an hour, gets quite scary. Very, very bumpy as well, too, because you're talking about road. I was on a road. Don't tell anybody, of course, it was a road out in the middle of nowhere, but it gets bumpy when you're up around those top speeds because, of course, the car starts to lift and things like that. That's why they have a lot of downforce to keep the cars on the track. Obviously, the GT cars don't have as much downforce as these Formula 1 cars do. But Bert Mylander actually, well, the safety car driver has a top speed he has to stick to, and that's determined by the FAA. Per race, obviously, per situation. Of course, wet weather race, you'd have a slower speed than you have for a dry race and so forth. But he goes as fast as he possibly can, according to the FAA. It's not like, you know, when Lewis and stuff like that tell him to hurry up, that he's going to go, well, okay, let me just put the gas pedal down and I'll go faster. No, he can't. He's being dictated, obviously, from race control.
Yeah, because I'm curious, we've seen in the real life Formula 1 some very interesting races here at Monza. You know, in 2020 with the win of Pierre Gasly, and last year with Daniel Ricciardo winning, you know, very unusual wins. And I'm curious, will we see something like that today, or is it going to be Alex Seguin just running away with a victory? Because as of now, it doesn't look like Alex is in 5th place.
Yeah, Alex, it's just practice session, but could be sandbagging. Could be doing heavy fuel loads. Also tires as well. Might be getting out there and going to have to swap some mediums. But it could be perhaps just testing that around. That's why you have a practice session. Not going to be an absolute indication of your pace, apart from some of these drivers out there, like, for example, Johan. That's got the fastest time right now. Not into the 19s, but almost 120 flat. He could be doing a qualifying run, and I expect to see at the end of the session, you might see drivers jumping in and get some fresh boots, little or no fuel, and put a couple of bankers in because that'll just be before qualifying anyway.
Yeah, we are now watching Victor Bolea. I hope I pronounced his name well, with a very interesting green car. It reminds me a lot of the NVIDIA graphics that they were using.
Yeah, I don't know how he managed to find an NVIDIA card. He's pretty lucky. I believe it or not, I have one coming. Should be next week that I get it. Actually, take me about a year and change to get one. So Victor, if you want to go on board, turn our fantastic producer that unfortunately is under the weather at the moment. But it's going to be, and that's of course Mr. Geza. There it is. Oh, coming out Parabolica, or what is it? The it's going to go into the pit. Sorry, now anyway, what's it called now? There's two names for it. Alberto. That's it. The Italian driver that used to race in Formula One, Ferrari as well. Now we are on board with Joe.
Joe Taberner, the champion of the W12 Road Series, the other league that we were running that has just ended here at ASR. So we know that Joe Taberner is a super fast driver, but in this league he just haven't got that little bit of luck that he needed in order to get good results here. No, he was at some times battling for podiums. He even got a pole position, if I'm not wrong, at Imola. But yeah, just he's a little bit off.
Yeah, but you know, practice makes perfect. Eventually he might convert that into race pace. You can even see the banking around Curva Grande, I believe it was. You whip your way through there. It's quite interesting seeing this from a different perspective. And there's the first of the Lesmos. Second one on the inside is going to have to back off, I was going to say, on that one. I wonder if the driver up ahead was realizing, but it looks like the driver up ahead's actually on a quick lap as well. So he's allowed to be where he has to be. And Joe's definitely compromised his lap on this one, and they're going to have to let each other through at some point. Otherwise, it's going to be costing each other time. And he goes through Parabolica. Sorry, not Parabolica, obviously Ascari, and then down into Parabolica. It's quite interesting, too. They don't tuck up next to the pit wall like they do in the F1 game, and realistically in the real F1, they don't tuck up to that pit wall as close as they got the exit here, because usually shortest to the line is the quickest. Looks like they're racing at the moment, mate. And you can see where the yellow car is currently. Remember, he was tucked up against the wall. But they are racing! Believe it or not, it is a practice session, and there's, oh wow, a little bit scary to see a car parked just on the exit of the pit lane as they make their way down into turn one. You can see that as they accelerate out of that turn two, the rear end starts to slip. That's what that's going to be key, I think, to looking in the race this evening. Like, if somebody plants it too hard, too much wheel spin, will they go around? How much pace will they lose before they go to Curva Grande? And then this turns right here, 4 and 5.
Yeah, we've seen a battle between Joe Taberner and was that Mark Johnson behind him who was battling? Anyways, this is practice, and they are practicing a little bit for the race. You know, with these battles, they are seeing where is good to overtake, where is not, where you need to back out. And Joe Taberner might have an advantage in the race. Anyways, we've seen in the real Formula 1, in every qualifying session since 2019, that all the drivers are going out at the same time, trying to get a tow from the driver that will be ahead of them. So I'm curious if today we will be seeing the same thing, or we're going to see a normal qualifying like in the other races.
Yeah, no, who's your teammate? That's the thing. As you need to get that tow from your teammate, you need to coordinate it, but they're individual battles on track, so they're going to be working together or not. I wouldn't want to give a rivalry a tow behind me.
Yeah, but a lot of these drivers actually don't have a teammate. They are racing alone.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, so I wouldn't want to give everybody a tow if I could avoid it. Two of the drivers in my Johan and Red. I'm going to get his name wrong as well. The Red
That is Gregor Bigos.
What's that? Who is it again? Let me. They are on identical times. Identical times. Now, here's one for you guys out there. Here's a little bit of F1 trivia I found about just the other day watching an old F1 race. Say an F1 race that's been in the last 20 or 30 years. There was 3 drivers in one race that all qualified on the same time. Does anybody know what race that was? Their pole time was all identical for 3 drivers. No Googling.
If I'm not wrong, that was in Perez 1970. No, 1990. What was it, 1994?
Yeah, I think it's 94, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Yeah, 97.
97.
In the
yeah.
European Grand Prix, it was Jack Villeneuve, Michael Schumacher, and Harold Brunson set a 121.072. Pretty amazing, isn't it? See that very often now, but and it went to Jack Villeneuve because he said it first, and that's how that rules. You do see it in the F1 games, and you might even see it here this evening in iRacing as well. Believe it or not, I have seen identicals times in an iRacing race before, but usually with the slower cars, more likely to get closer times.
Yeah, you've mentioned Jerez, and I was always curious how would an F1 race look on that track, because I don't know, for me and for what I was racing on it in Assetto Corsa, it's an interesting track. It's fun for hot lapping, but I don't know how good it is for racing with these wide and very fast cars.
Which track you mentioning, sorry?
Jerez.
Perez. I don't even know the track Perez.
No, mate, Jerez is Spain.
Jerez in Spain.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know that track.
It's the track where all the 3 drivers set the same time.
That's not what? That's not Jerez. Hang on.
That's Jerez. That's Jerez de la
Called Jerez,
Frontera.
really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I never even remember that track at all. Because usually you've also got Circuit de Barcelona, and then there was Valencia, right? They're the other 2 Spanish ones that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're going down to 20 odd seconds left, and that will be our practice session over, and qualifying will be up just a minute.
Qualifying started. We're now 30 seconds in the qualifying session, as we're now seeing the Finnish driver Immonen being the first one to leave the pit lane.
I was going to say, how did you know it was the Circuit de Permanente de Jerez? You must have Googled that.
No, it's a MotoGP track right now. So that's where I know it from.
I love that Golf livery that you saw before, but at the moment we got the drivers out there basically doing some overtaking and maneuvering. We got a bunch of traffic out there. This is kind of exactly what you mentioned, mate, isn't it? They all jump out of the box pretty quickly. They got 20 minutes qualifying session, but I don't think they got the memo on that. Quite interesting.
Every single one of them because wants the slipstream. And Victor Bolea, I don't know. It looks like he's the worst position driver in this group, but he's going early. Yes, he's going early, so he's breaking the toe from Alex Iguya. Now Alex Iguya is in the worst place because he will be giving the toe to all the drivers behind him.
He's going to start that hot lap for the first time this evening here for the qualifying session. Beautiful temperatures here at Monza. So don't have to worry about any bit of rain there this evening. And he gets that entry and exit quite good. Doesn't do the Sebastian Vettel and goes straight through the cones and whatever they call there. And it's just supposed to go around, of course. But then again, Seb had a brake failure. Unfortunately, even in these sims, you're not going to get brake failures or anything like that. But of course, you can get damage. Of course, you can damage those tires as well as he goes around the first Lesmo. And the second Lesmo as well can be a little bit tricky, a little bit more high speed, but you can go right out wide out. Then you go too wide, you're in the dirt, you're in the sand. Down this DRS straight, and then you've got the famous Ascari coming up. We'll see how he approaches that. Getting a hug to the right-hand side, cut through as straight as possible. Sounds easy, but it's not. When you get it wrong, you're going to run wide there. little bit more wide that we can run in the F1 game. And then, of course, now down to Parabolica, you want to get hugging that line. And once again, shortest path, try to take it through there. Spot the apex a little bit, but not too much. And go too wide and do a... I can't remember who the driver was in the Ferrari that crashed into the ball a couple of years ago. But here we go. Cross the line that. And the first benchmark will be 120.7. No, and the 19s from Alex has come in there immediately. So they've just broken the 20s immediately. Straight off the bat, 19s for Alex. So yeah, they're not messing around. Light fuel loads, qualifying pace. Wow, I didn't expect to see 19 so quickly. There you go.
Best lap of the day. In practice, we've had 119.9. Alex Gue is already at 119.8. So what you've said that he was sandbagging in practice, that was right. He's super fast.
It's generally what they do because they're testing race pace, perhaps, you know. What you would want to be in. Is that sign falling down there as he's entering the pit lane? I think it has. It's fallen off. I'm gonna get one of those marshals up there and fix that because they're going to fall on the pit lane. All right, maybe I'll get out there and do it. Okay, fine. Get the rope, get the harness. I don't know if you guys even caught that, did you? See that little sign that's fallen down? Anyway. That sign actually has fallen down right next to the podium, and this is the only track in Formula 1 that actually has the podium that goes over the track. So that all the Tifosi can go absolutely ballistic, of course, if there's a Ferrari that finishes. But remember that today, there's no Ferraris. They're all Mercedes-powered Mercedes. And of course, spotting all those different liveries that you see. And there it is. Two of these gladiators at the moment are going down the back straight.
Look at those two beagles.
You want to try to get here?
They are playing mental games. Both of them are not wanting to be the car in front, and Alex Gue is now the car in front, and he will be giving the slipstream to Bolea, which is going to be an advantage for the Spanish driver. But now Alex Gue is slowing down, so what I was saying, this is mental games between those two, and Alex Gue knows this very well. He's the leader of the championship, and I feel like in this type of races the mental side is very important because you are not seeing the other drivers, you are racing in front of your PC. But not only this, but also in real life, I feel like the mental side and the psychological side is a very important part of Formula 1 because it is a spin for Alex Gue. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is the fact that Lewis Hamilton, from my point of view, is one of the best prepared drivers from the psychological point of view. And from my perspective, he has beaten Sebastian Vettel at least in a season in 2017 and also maybe in 2018 only from mental. Because, you know, Sebastian Vettel has started doing mistakes when he was feeling the pressure from Lewis, and Lewis has been ice cold all season.
You're exactly right. 100% right. I'm sure everybody would agree with that one because that's something else that another famous driver used to do a lot, Michael Schumacher. Very good psychological, mental driver. You know, and even plays those psychological mental games with other drivers, even behind the scenes, just to kind of throw them off. Anything you can possibly do to distract them, upset them, you know, put them in a different mental place so that you can then dominate it on track. And that comes back to Lewis's karting days, obviously, because if you've seen many documentaries or read things about that, how when Anthony Hamilton, his father, he used to struggle obviously because they didn't have a lot of money. His father was working a couple of jobs just to get in karting. Super expensive. You guys are obviously probably aware of that. And he had like leftover bits and pieces, and going up against teams where they had families that were quite a little bit more wealthier, and so he had to find an advantage over the other drivers. Obviously, you can be quick on track. You've got to be proven to be a little bit quicker with the equipment you have, and he just took different approaches to that, and that was probably one of the keys of that mental toughness, because he was up against the wall a lot and had to work 10 times harder than perhaps a lot of the other drivers out there did, and that's the sign, the reason why the man's a true champion.
Yeah, I agree. And when we're talking about Lewis's character and him beating Sebastian Vettel from the psychological point of view, it pops in my mind the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. It might be controversial, I'm going to say. But I feel like that moment has played such an important role in that season. Because what happened on track and also off track with Lewis, I think it was Lewis running in Sebastian's back in Baku under the safety car. No. The doors were reversed.
That was, yeah.
Yeah. So
That
Lewis.
that was Sebastian Vettel running into Lewis. Yeah, Lewis is not that kind of driver where he'll tap. I mean, Max Verstappen's done it. Sebastian Vettel have done it. That's why that goes to show Lewis is just a cool, calm collective. I mean, but the thing is, obviously he's like, he gets frustrated, of course, and he gets faster. So I don't think that's what you do. You don't like poke, you don't provoke a lion because it'll come back and bite you. And that's what happens. They're trying to push Lewis mentally by doing these things, and all you do is make Lewis even stronger. So I don't think that's a good tactic. Oh, there's a Ferrari. Sorry, the red car goes absolutely airborne. I think, who was that?
Russello.
So yeah, and that hurt. That's gonna hurt his back for sure. Wow. You remember you're laying almost flat in these cars, and there it is. When it comes back down, it's gonna snap on your back. But of course, virtual world, he doesn't have that problem. Might see a little bit of that, isn't it? I'll tell you that Ascari's a little tricky, especially that third part of Ascari.
Because shoot.
Yeah, exactly. In real motorsports, of course, that is. I think there was even a couple other drivers. It was that I think it was in Adelaide or something like that. Sorry, not in Melbourne, through turns 11 and 12 or whatever. One of the other drivers that was hit one of those chicanes and went flying up there and really hurt his back. I mean, about Harold Side Sprints or whatever like that. Well, anyway, you guys might know out there in the chat. But yeah, it can get bumpy, and that's why they also don't want to have these massive sausage chicanes and stuff like that too much as well. A lot of drivers argue about that. Of course, they're there to slow them down, to try to prevent cutting the corner. When they hit them, since these cars airborne.
Wasn't there an incident in Formula 4? I think it was with the two Prema cars crashing, and one of them was absolutely airborne going into Variante della Roggia.
Yeah, I believe so. That's right.
I don't know if you've seen it or how many of you have seen it.
I think I have. Yeah. Then they review that, of course, because they're worried that it'll happen to the Formula 1s. Obviously, the Formula 1 drivers are a little bit more experienced, a little bit more top of the game.
Yeah, still. You can go flying.
They can go flying, of course, because these cars are about downforce. And there's one problem that you get, of course, is that when those tires are not connected to the track and you get a little bit of air underneath it, it goes skyborne. We've seen cars flip. Ask Mark Webber about that one back in the day. Remember, he's flipped twice, actually. He flipped to the GT car earlier in Le Mans. And before he got into Formula 1, and then he got into Formula 1 and he had a full flip. That was scary. Luckily, of course, it landed its way back down and then straight into the fence, but he flipped at the wrong time, wrong place. Might not be able to get out of that car safely. But anyway, all grants to the safety of Formula 1 of recent days. It's been quite good, but we've also got a lot of lucky breaks as well.
Because we've seen Johan Roussel flying with that red car. And I was wondering, is he at a home race? Is he the Ferrari driver of today? Because I'm looking at the liveries and he is the only driver with a red car. I think there's also Gregor driving a red car, but besides that, there are no drivers. So
I believe that's his regular livery. We confirm that from our producer. But yeah, could be. The name doesn't sound too Italian, but...
No, he's French. He's actually French.
Oh. Yeah. So at the moment, Alex still has that pole. They haven't come down on those times too much. Nobody's really broken the 19s apart from Alex that just has done the 19.88. He just said a 19.9 on that last lap. So I'd expect to see anybody really wants to take pole at the moment. You're going to be looking at about a 19.8 or 19.7. We've got about 8 minutes of qualifying left. And now I think these guys are just putting in a couple of laps. You can see there, no personal bests really from those 4 drivers down the bottom there. They're all just into the yellows. The yellows are just like a little bit slower than your previous personal best times. Could also be getting ready to line themselves up for the next qualifying runs. Also, remember they've got energy recovery system, so they could have their batteries completely charged, getting ready for a flying lap.
if I'm not wrong, Alexi Guerra has set a time on the medium compound tires. But I might be wrong. I'm not seeing it on telemetry, but as I've seen on the live stream, he was on the medium tires.
It's very interesting that we've seen over the season here at Untitled Racing for the W12s. Because even speaking in the interviews, I think it was Mark, maybe not last week or the week before, and he was saying he didn't even run the soft tires at all during practice or qualifying. And when he got the soft tires on, because you have to run 2 compounds, and when he did put the soft tires on during the pit stop, he found them to be slower than the mediums. So this is something that you're not seeing that massive deficit of the soft tires to the mediums that you do in the F1 game. That's because, realistically, with the real F1, you don't see a great massive difference, do you, between the softs and the mediums like you do in the game version. It is a little bit, but the tires are also designed for 100% race. They're not designed for a shorter race than what we generally always do in simulations. So there's a lot more durability with them. They don't fall off the cliff as much. So that's when these drivers, I don't think, have to worry too much about those tires. Obviously, fresh boots out of pit lane are always going to be good. You generally see fast laps coming out of them because they're fresh. But after a few laps later on, they just stabilize quite well. So it's very interesting. But because once again, it's a simulation, simulating from the real F1. That's what happens in real F1. However, they might want to think about changing the physics of these tires, because are they designing these tires once again for 100% race when we're not doing 100%?
I'm not wrong, the tire wear is the same, but again, I might be wrong. Anyways, because Radecki Gregors has set on 119.9, so he's less than a tenth behind Eguia. So very close between the two drivers. Anyways, you were talking about tires and about drivers setting a time on mediums and not on softs. I remember this has also happened in real life in the 2020 Portugal Grand Prix, where Lewis Hamilton or Valtteri Bottas, one of the Mercedes anyways, has got a pole position with the mediums and not with the softs in Q3, and that was the first time in the history when the pole position has been got without using the fastest compound. Oh, Alex Higuera has the fastest lap, 119.7. So he now builds an even bigger gap to Radecki Gregor. As for now, watching Lee Balmore, green on the first sector, green on the second one, green on the third one. Lee Balmore will now end the fourth sector. It's not a personal best, but now he will round out Parabolica to finish the lap. Let's see, where will Lee Balmore set lap, because his last lap was a 127.7, so this will be the first lap. 121.3 for Lee Balmore.
Yeah, it's an improvement. 24 car. He's got 2 of the other drivers there behind. There's a few of them actually. Hans has not set a time, believe it or not. Orlo has not set a time. Yes, Steve has, and Carlos. So I wonder why those drivers are have not set times yet. Maybe something we get from the stewards letting us know. Oh, by the way, we will have a live stewarding team here this evening that will be keeping an eye on all these gladiators and making sure they're behaving themselves. We'll get reports, we'll relay them to you.
Because I'm looking at the live timing and I'm seeing that Paulo Lopez has done 5 laps and all of his laps have been deleted for off track.
Yep, track limits. So he's pushing it a little bit too much. I think you want to get a banker in right now because they're running out of time. 3 minutes to go.
Johan Roussel purple in the 4th sector, so he should be keeping an eye on the maybe Ferrari driver. We're still not sure. But anyways, Roussel, the Frenchman, will now round out his lap for 119.7. He goes in pole position. He goes purple. So the Tifosi, I think, are
Yeah.
absolutely screaming right now.
Grazie, of course.
Alex Seguya is also purple, Beagles. Purple on the fourth sector.
He's
Alex
responding.
Seguya, we should be keeping an eye on the Spanish driver. Where is he? Yellow on
Car
the last
71
one.
car. Where is he on
Oh,
track here?
he's in pole position. 119.6 for Alex Seguya.
Absolutely amazing. He's come back by just 10 thousandths of a second. He snuck it away there from Johan.
Do these drivers still have time for another lap? Yes, they do. We have 1 minute and 40 seconds to go to do a lap around Monza. It takes you 1 minute and 20 seconds. But Johan Roussel should go faster out because he only has 10 seconds. He's on a pit exit. He will catch another lap. So we'll be having one last lap for pole position as we're now watching Bolea. He's ending his lap. Bolea goes up into 6th place.
6th place, exactly. That's a good improvement.
120.5.
It's backing off, so he's like, that's enough for me this evening. I'll be happy to start on that row.
Jasper Smelt. Oh, the back end just steps out. And he goes a little bit wide and he goes straight into the pit lane. That's qualifying done for the Dutch driver.
Difficult pit lane entrance as well, too, because it's flat out. It's 80 kilometers an hour. You'll see probably a few lockups going to that pit lane entrance. It generally happens because he comes straight out of Parabolica. Yep, you're straight in. There's no little kinks or anything like that that you generally put in some of the modern tracks there to try to help slow the drivers down.
Sorry, Beagles, but Gregor has just set a purple first sector, yellow his second one. Purple again for Radecki. Gregor, we might be seeing him going purple on his entire lap, but it's now only Parabolica. Let's see how he has gone through Ascari. Not great, but Parabolica. Is this going to be pole position for this driver?
It's going to be for sure. I reckon it's a 19.5 or a 19.4. It's going to be close. He's up against the wall. That's what you like to see. Oh, it's not.
19.6.
Oh, it's
he just misses out.
It might be the straight. He might be straight line speed then. You think because really, that final third sector, you've only got 2 straights and you got Curva Parabolica, so he might. That's yeah, a little bit quicker, I guess, through the other turns.
Alex Seguya faster. Alex Seguya has been faster on the first sector.
I think Alex right now is he going to cover this off? He doesn't need to. I don't think there's anybody out to steal this one away. Now this is just showing off now. He's got traffic, but he's going to get a tow. He's going to get that tow down this back straight. Or if we go to Carabot, he's going to have to overtake, of course, because he's going to be too tucked up behind now.
Is this teamwork? He's not. He's not. Alex Seguya has now. Oh, he spins. He spins. Oh, that's a crash.
Yep, that is a Carlos Sainz, I think. Who was it? No, that was Charles Leclerc. Leclerc went straight off into Parabolica there like that. I don't think Charles did it like Alex just did. Because Alex would be out of this race right now. They'd have to fix his car and they're not going to have enough time. But anyway, Alex has done qualifying here in Monza.
So this is it, qualifying down. Alex Seguya takes pole position, and this is going to be very, very important for the championship, because if he starts from pole position and he gets no problems at the start, he might just go on to take this win. And 25 very important points.
That's true. Yep, I'm not quite sure. We'll have to see if there's other drivers. We had 3 of them in the 19s this evening. And you got Joe, once again, qualifying performance from Joe's been good. Big shout out there, obviously, for Electic. I think it is there from Kevin was saying. He finished in P9. You'll get to go through those results in a second as well. They'll come up there. Interesting to see as well, too, where they're going to be starting. Pole position starts on the left-hand side of the track. That means you generally get that little dive bomb 2 into 1 into Rettifeto. That will occur. It's difficult. Very difficult run down in the first couple of turns on this one for everybody to hit that breaking point, of course, and then sneak through those S's without losing front wings and damage. I'm going to be, always, I'd have to say, in league racing, you tend to see a safety car at some point because of the collisions that occur, but definitely front wings and damage, as we're going to have, give or take, about 18 drivers here this evening make their way down at that turn. As Kevin's going out for the Dutchies.
Are we having a rolling start?
One for our producer. Don't think so. Should be a standing start, right? Yeah, because we're seeing, well, we're there currently at the moment underneath the bridge, so I'm not quite sure where those cars are. You think you're right on a rolling start.
Guys, are we going on with this?
What's wrong? Sorry?
They're doing a rolling start for some reason. The settings put it on as
Yeah,
well.
I'm wondering at the moment there, because there's the bridge, and that's not the straight line.
What are we doing?
Read through that. I don't know if you can, Ed. All right, it's a little small for me on the screen.
Anyways, we should be going through the grid of the 9th round of the W12 series. Alex Higuera, the Spanish driver, the Drivers' Championship leader, will start from pole position. Radecki Gregor, second place. Johan Celio, the Ferrari driver, in third place. Joe Taberner, fourth. Hannes Logel, fifth place. And Victor Bolea will be the last driver in third row on sixth. Ovale will start seventh. Jasper Smelt in eighth. Boss ninth. Lopez in 10th place, Stefan Hoffman in 11th, Mark Johnston in 12th, and my telemetry is going absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's because of rolling start. Some of the cars are going to be like passing each other and not passing each other. Because obviously they're allowed to during this, as they make their way around the track. They just have to make sure they sort themselves out in alignment before they actually get going. They're currently at the moment going through Ascari. They're going to be making their way down this back straight. Not a lot of weaving around, things like that, because you can't be doing that on a rolling start, of course, because you'll be bumping into the other cars near you. But it's even Stevens for everybody. It's not the Mercedes safety car. It looks like it's a Porsche. Porsche. How would you like to pronounce it? Anyway. That's going to be a field, so keep an eye out for Alex and Reddy into turn one. That's going to be the tight one. And Johan try to do something about it, and Joe that on the second row. Remember, the outside line is on the racing line. But however, if you break a little bit later, if you're on the inside line, you have an opportunity. And this looks like they're going to get ready to go racing green flag conditions here right now. And they have.
So Alex Higuera has started, but it's a little bit too early because the start finish line, it's incredibly long. We have the 5 lights out, but the drivers are already overtaking each other. Victor Bolea has got up 2 places, 3 places now. Gregor's on the inside of Alex Higuera. I hope they will not touch because this is going to be important for the championship. Alex Higuera still leading. Gregor's on, it's a contact. There's a crash. Someone has been flying. I think that was Ovale with the blue car. Yes, it was the Spanish driver, was flying after turn 2, and he surely has damage because he's losing place after place after place. Gregor's is thinking about a move, and Bolea is doing a move. He's having to 4th place. The Gulf River.
Yeah, he's got no front wing, but still managed to get through that corner quite well. There looks like an overtake just up ahead there, down the road there, and it looks like Victor's going 2 positions, and here is the battle.
Oh, there's the contact. Yeah. There's contact, and he's wide. Jasper Smelt is wide, and there's another driver wide there in the back. I think that's Ovale because he has absolutely no front wing. Still drivers going side by side.
It throws a spatter in the mix at the moment too, when the cars are trying to battle with each other and also trying to make their way around some of those cars. So Raddy does it.
Oh, there's a crash.
There's an accident at the back. We've got plenty of replays, no doubt, to come and show you guys, but we'll keep an eye on it.
There's a huge crash. There was a huge crash. There was someone colliding with Timonen.
Yeah, that's got to be a safety car, I think. Is it? I think we're on a caution now.
Is he safety?
I'm not sure if we are on a caution. Yeah, looking at everything is red on here at the moment. Wow.
He crashed on his own.
I did think somebody was going to be coming out of Ascari into the fence. And no, we are green flag conditions, surprisingly enough. But anyway, there it is. A couple of victims for the Italian track. And, well, Alice did manage to hold off. Just very lucky for that first turn there, Johan. Unfortunately, Joe was the one and Hans that lost those positions. So Hans actually had a bit of a tangle, didn't they? A bit of contact. Victor's made his way up in a P3 currently at the moment.
Bolea is in third place. Taberner is in fourth place. Something happened to Rousselio. Something happened to Rousselio because he's losing place after place after place. Is that damage? Was that a mistake? He's down to 6th place from 3rd.
Yeah, Johan could be for sure. So got some gainers and some losers. There's Joe at the moment, just lost that position currently to Victor. Victor's absolutely blistering here right now. Victor Bolea, you said, currently in P3. It's about 2 seconds down the road there from our race leader, Alex, who's starting to pull a little bit of gap at the moment, getting out of that DRS territory.
Joe Taberner is now chasing down Victor Bolea. Lap 3rd out of 26. Can Joe Taberner try to send one down the inside? He's a little bit far away. Is he thinking about it? I'm sure he's thinking about it, but he will not try anything in Retifilio. Now through Curva Grande. Maybe here on the slipstream. He's very close, Joe Taberner. He will have a good chance in Variante della Roggia. Will he try anything? No, he doesn't. He keeps him behind. He thinks about the fact that this race is long and we're still very early into it. Now going through Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. Joe Taberner still behind. Victor Bolea now on a straight line. DRS, slipstream. Can Joe Taberner overtake Victor Bolea? He pulls alongside him, but Bolea just has the edge over him through Ascari. And now Joe Taberner will have again 2 chances on the slipstream. Through Parabolica is very, very hard to overtake in the last corner of the Monza racetrack, and I don't think he will try anything there. As we're having small technical difficulties.
Yep, the camera's connecting up to the on the box at the moment. Sorry, the commentary box. I don't think he's going to make a run down here. That DRS is almighty and powerful, but I think he's just happy to hang in there in the slipstream. But at the moment, got the Huns there catching slowly in the background, so it's turning into a 3-way race, while the other 2 gladiators are kind of just up the road there by 3s and change. A little bit different battles are occurring, and I think at the moment you don't want to get held up too much. Oh, they got a little wide off the track there from Joe. And that means he's going to be in trouble right now on this contact. Through the first Lesmo.
That's Hans Slogan in the wall.
Exactly. We'll keep an eye on the report for that. That was a little bit, side by side through. Side by side through the Lesmos is always very risky. And there's proof he's got to get back on track because he's going to lose a couple more places as the car's coming around the corner right now. Now he's got clear, eh? He's just driving through those braking board markers that are, thankfully, not styrofoam.
That's what I've said. Just what I've said in practice, because Joe Taberner is super fast, but these small mistakes just hold him back and makes him lose so much time and so many chances. Anyways, Radecki Gregor only 7/10 behind the Spanish driver, the leader of the race. As Joe Taberner goes into the pit lane, he might have some damage because it's very, very early.
Yeah, I'd say so for sure. He wouldn't be boxing this early unless he's... well, the tyres don't get cooked as much. There's... whoa! There's Jasper on the back of the man that we got the support out there from Kevin in the stream there, and that's... I can't pronounce his name. He's the Dutch driver.
Boss. You pronounce it like boss.
Van der Bos. Van der Bos.
Alarik Van den Bos. Anyways, I think we should be watching also, we should be keeping an eye on the first 2 drivers because the gap between them is only 7/10. So Gregor is close. He haven't lost that much time behind Alexei Guya. I was thinking when Alexei Guya has built a gap of 1.5 seconds that he will just go and run away with a victory. Radecki Gregor thinks otherwise, and he's keeping there in the DRS zone. 6/10.
He's keeping him honest for sure. Why not? Hang with him. That's good pace. When Alex gets up the road, Alex is going up the road. Not today.
Because something happened to Jasper Smelt. He's in the pit lane now. I think that was an incident or something because he was losing place after place and he has gone straight into the pit lane. Also, Lee Balmer is losing a lot of places.
Yeah, that could very well be. If there might be a replay if it's highlighted or not. We have to remember too, our fantastic producer this evening is not feeling very well, so we're just privileged to have him even here today, where he should really be in bed resting. But of course, he's just too passionate about anti-store racing to do that. We tried, didn't we, to make him stick into bed, but he couldn't. So we have to obviously, thank him very much and make sure that he, it's very, very difficult when you're not feeling good to be able to do all this high-speed action. He's already doing a fantastic job. Incident reports that we have currently at the moment between car 16 and 14 are under investigation. That will be that Joe incident that we mentioned just before.
Beagles, Gregors is very close now to Eguia, and now going through Parabolica, Gregors is closer than ever. He will surely think about a move in turn 1. Now, Slipstream, DRS, lap 8 out of lap 7 actually out of 26. Will Radeczki Gregors just send one on the inside? He pulls alongside him on the inside, Radeczki Gregors, and he's in a little race. That's it, job done. Job done from Radeczki Gregors. He's leading the race, and I'm absolutely cheering for him because I want to take an interview for him to ask how is his name pronounced.
We've been trying, but that was absolute textbook 101 overtake, wasn't it? He did it. He didn't outbrake himself, didn't lock up, and believe it or not, he even got even a better acceleration out of turn 2, and he's clearly the quicker driver at the moment, and that's quite surprising. Well, we've seen what Alex has done before in the past when we've chatted to him in the interviews. He's happy just to chill and just get the slipstream. So do you think Alex at the moment is not putting up too much of a fight because he knows it's a long race from lap 7?
Yeah, I'm sure of it. We've seen in qualifying, he's absolutely rapid here at Monza, but, slipstream is so important and super effective here. And, you can just stay behind the driver in front, take the DRS, take the slipstream, stick on the 1 second margin, and that's it. You can go an entire race like this.
You can, and one man has done it is Alex. No doubt the man that's probably been leading more laps than anybody else so far this season. Just happy to get a few less. So it's not in because the F1 we don't actually get additional points that are issued in some of the other divisions, of course, in iRacing and motor racing in general with the cars and stuff. You actually get a few points if you lead a certain amount of races, laps. Race. That's more like stock car and stuff.
There's a thing in NASCAR, if I'm not wrong.
In NASCAR, yeah, I don't know. I do commentate iRacing leagues and stuff like that now, and they tell me that, and I'm learning something new every day. But my heart's always in Formula One, and because I can't be in that car driving these speeds at these moments and driving these tracks, 122s currently doing during race pace, I have to sit there and watch them up here in the commentary box. But I'm perfectly happy with that.
That was a small mistake from Gregors. And I'm watching the live timing and I'm seeing a lot of overtakes between Russelio and Bolea. Russell has gone back in 3rd place. He overtook Victor Bolea. So from where he was in 7th place at one point, he's back on the podium places. So the Tifosi are probably very happy right now.
It's very, very close at the moment there between Johan and Victor, I think, as well. Running 3rd and 4th. It's also another battle at the moment that's occurring between the car and 7th and 6th. And you can look at that too, 7th and 6th, they both Marks gained 6 places in this race. Paulio just up the road there has gained 5. And that's because of some of those incidents that we mentioned. He doesn't have to take an opportunity at the moment. That's what I mentioned between that 3 and 4. No, 2nd and 3rd. Sorry, 3rd and 4th.
Slipstream, DRS, turn 1. You can't do anything before the driver in front in this situation.
You could go straight through the barriers, so that the styrofoam that's there to make you go around. Obviously, get a penalty.
Leclerc has done that in real life, if I'm not wrong. He has done it once or twice.
Sebastian. That was a brake failure. So this is that. So far, so good. I mean, Monza is one of those tracks where it's the temple of speed, so you've got really DRS trains all over the track that you start forming. And it's amazing, isn't it? Really, do you see the gap at the moment that's already occurred between P1, P2, and then all the way down here, 7 seconds and change down the road already that they've pulled on Victor running P3. And you gotta remember, we're only on almost lap 10. That's a lot of time they've gained. Because these guys, the top two, are lapping in the 122s. Everybody else is lapping in the late 23s and 24s.
Watching the gap between Gregors and Eguia, and he's over 1 second off, so I'm very curious of the strategy that Eguia is doing. Is he keeping a 1 second to stay out of the dirt here and protect his tires, or is he just not fast enough? And it's Roselio very close to Bolea, but not trying any move into turn 1. He might get another chance on Variante de la Roja because it's a long slipstream zone between turn 1 and turn 3. Roselio is really far away, so he will have to stay behind Bolea another lap. Anyways, coming back to Gregors and Eguia, what do you think, Bigas? What is Eguia's strategy?
Studying the drivers, seeing at the moment how their tires are feeling, and working out this pit stop strategy, crunching those numbers to see who's going to do the undercut, the overcut, and stuff like that, because we are getting close to the halfway point. Well, we're a third of the way through the race at the moment, just over. So it's going to be the situation of, when are you going to box, and when are you going to basically, pump out those really quick laps to cover it off, because I think we're going to see a few overtakes this evening in pit lane.
Yeah, anyways, Roselio wanted to prove me wrong, and he overtook Eguia before the start-finish line. He's now again up into third place, but this makes the two drivers lose a lot of time to the first and second.
Brings also Mr. Bolea into play, starting to catch the background. The 88 car, 5 positions he's gained in this race. You can see him now. Might be in that DRS toe soon.
Van de Bos is now in the pit lane. So he's the first driver to pit. I have not had any problems.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. 24-second pit stop here in Monza. He should come out clear. So I think he'll come out around 14 and one go there. So it'll have a nice clear track just to get his head down and get on with it. Actually, he hasn't, my apologies, come out in traffic. And that's the traffic right ahead. I was looking at the wrong car on the track map.
Now, this is important because we should see how fast he can go on new tires. And this will make us an idea of what the drivers at the front will do and what strategy will they pull out. Because if now Van de Bos will be super fast, I think more drivers will think about the undercut. As strategy, Gregor sets a 122.4 and Alex Eguia is 122.6, so strategy Gregor is 2/10 faster than Eguia.
Another good thing too, if you can time it perfectly to come out and get that DRS toe out of pit lane, that's going to give you a nice, good, fast lap and gives you an opportunity, obviously, to get the overtake done and get up the road. Sebastian's now boxing from P7. That'll slot him out probably around, we get ahead. I'm not sure he's going to get ahead of Stevie. No, he won't. He's going to come out in that traffic around here somewhere. I think around where Troy is.
Victor Bolea still close to Roselio. I think that now he's just thinking about the tire wear. Because it's clear that if he will overtake, then Roselio will get the slipstream and the DRS, and he will be back behind. And this made those two lose so much time. And I think that Bolea is just racing and, applying a smart strategy with keeping behind. And Radeczki Gregors, the race leader, is in the pit lane. So he doesn't want to get undercut by Alex Eguia. And he pits.
Let's have a look.
First.
Gaps to Joe. 23 seconds to Joe. 24 seconds is the pit stop. So will he get out ahead of Joe is going to be key, because Joe's got a few cars a little bit down the road from him.
Surely he does. He does. Joe Taberner has done his pit stop. So for Joe Taberner, it's there is position now.
This must be a lot quicker pit stop than in the F1 game. It's not in 24 seconds, and I think.
Because I'm doing my math and
There's a lot of action at the moment between 10, 11, 12. You want to go down there at the moment there, Mr. Director. They're really battling out there behind the Dutch driver. Oh. Of Troy. Troy's in the mix there. Stefan up the road. There it is. There's three-way. Now, they've had their pit stops. Oh, sorry, Troy hasn't. My apologies. Van der Bos has. Steve up the road from him hasn't. And Stefan has. That is really tucked up behind Troy. So I think Van der Bos got past, and then now Troy's got past.
oh, that was a mistake. That was a mistake.
Van der Bos.
Anyways, because what I wanted to say before we moved to watching Hoffman, Joe Taberner is virtually in third place because he overtook Victor Bolea, and both Taberner and Bolea has pitted. But Bolea
Alex
is very
is boxing
close,
now too, mate.
25%.
Alex is boxing, so that's going to be crucial. What has he covered him off? This is going to be
Gray
key.
is out. Gregor is ahead.
Oh,
He's
he
ahead.
got him.
Oh, I'm having flashbacks, but Gregor is much ahead. I thought for 1 second that Alex Seguia will go out side by side with Gregor, but Gregor is way ahead.
Gregos has gained probably about 2 seconds, I'd have to say, on just staying at one more lap. Very interesting.
No, the gap is pretty much the same. It was 1.0 before they pitted, and now it's 1.1. So that wasn't,
you're right. Yeah.
There wasn't much of a difference done by the pit stops. But now, Alex Seguia, can he get back and overtake Gregor as Bolea overtakes Taberner? So now Taberner falls into a virtual 4th place.
Yeah, there's a big thing behind Johan, who's currently in
no.
P5, but they made their pit stops. Still, top two are leading this race at the moment, have not made their pit stops. That will drop them out pretty close around where Stevie is in P8. I would have to actually shorten that up a little bit. Yeah. Maybe they cover up Stevie and just get in between Joe and Stevie. That's if Bolea does box right now from provision of this race.
If we would have a safety car just now, Paulo Lopez would go out and still lead the race.
That's right.
That would
But
shake
we've
up
seen
the
those
team.
accidents already this evening. And at the moment, because the cars are pretty well spread out, I was cut from a couple of those little battles there that are occurring between Johan and Victor. There's also behind Troy Banks, as yet to box there, has a lot of pressure there from the Van der Bos and Onko.
That's a battle.
Onko could be making an overtake right now too, actually. Sorry, if you go back to that one, I think P10, P11, P12.
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to say. They were overtaking a lot. 3-car battle for P10, I think it is. Yes,
Car battle now, mate.
So João Vale, the driver that was flying after Etifilio in lap 1, is now in the points places, but Alaric Van der Bos is very close to him, and as we're seeing side-by-side battle behind with Troy Banks and Sienko. Banks is now ahead of Sienko, and there's a spin! There's a
Oh, it's
spin
collision.
for Troy Banks.
Yeah, I think that was Troy. Troy was on the old pit stops. We're going to see a replay of this. Let's have a look. Keep an eye on the background. It's three-way battling in this corner there, and that's not going to pay off as they go into Ascari, and there it is. And he lifted off, of course, didn't want to tangle, but that'll be investigated. Still, nothing's been reported back in the investigation before with Joe.
Alex Seguia over to Gregors. Alex Seguia over to Gregors. They were going side by side, I think. They were overtaking each other. Gregors came back. But surely that was a battle for the lead. For the virtual lead of the race, because now it's Paulo Lopez. But anyways, Alex Seguia is close. And he's pumped up. He wants this win. He wants the all 25 points. And now, I'm very curious. Will Alex Seguia battle even more with Gregors for the win? Or will he think about the championship and just take the 18 points and move on?
No,
Because
we know Alex is not going to... He's going to want a race win here.
well, because
got time.
18 points. 18 points
got
is
time.
better than none.
No, he's
So-
got 10 laps. I think he's going to bide his time, probably saving his fuel a little bit more, burning it where he needs to burn it. We'll see.
Slipstream, lap 16 out of 26, going to Parabolica. He's close. Alex Seguy is close, but he's a little bit too far to try anything. Surely too far to try anything in Parabolica, but also in turn 1.
So it's been determined before that incident between Joes. There's been a race incident, so nothing there. But unfortunately, there was that recent incident that occurred between car 5 and car 8. That's Troy Banks. And car 5 is Sebastian. Unfortunately, a 5-second penalty has been dished out for Sebastian. That he's already boxed, so he'll have to add 5 seconds to him, currently running P11 towards the end of the race.
On the grass, Radicki Gregor on the grass. That made him lose some time. 1/10 there lost.
I think Alex is happy to stay in the DRS zone for now. Could be wrong.
Oh, he's close. He's closer than ever.
Got traffic coming up ahead too.
Will Alex Seguy go down inside? He pulls alongside, but he just goes back behind Radicki.
Yeah, no overtaking through Ascari, mate. That's fence wall material. But I think at the moment, Alex is going to be very cautious here because Gregors, if he gets that DRS tow from that lap car coming up soon, that will make it a little bit more difficult for him to get an overtake opportunity if he needs to, wants to, of course.
Still 3 seconds to that car, but Alex Seguy is now close. 2/10 between those two. He has DRS. Radicki covers the inside, and Alex Seguy just backs out. Doesn't do any move right now. But now he will have another chance through Variante della Roggia, but that's a pretty hard place to overtake because it's very easy to do a mistake. We've seen a lot of incidents there today.
Well, Radicki went right off the racing line too to cover the inside, which makes it very difficult to overtake around there.
Yeah,
So he's defending. He's not wanting to let Alex pass at this point. You can see that. Otherwise, he'd make it a little bit easier for him if he was happy to sit back and go behind. I think he's aware that if Alex gets up the road, Alex becomes a very difficult target to try to overtake. So I think Radicki is just going for this right now. He's going to make it as difficult as possible, and he's got that friendly car up the head. That's going to give him a nice DRS tow. Soon they catch him.
You can just see that Radicki Gregor is absolutely pushing because every single corner is going wide. You can see grass going out of his tires when he's going through Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. And also there in Variante della Roggia, he's always half a wheel on the grass because he's pushing so hard. And that's Paulo Lopez in the pit lane. So no DRS for Radicki. Now we're going to Retifilio, then Curva Grande. Radicki is doing his absolute best to break the toe. We've seen him moving a little bit right, even though that's not the ideal line through there, but just to keep the Spanish driver and the championship leader behind. He's doing absolutely everything he can. Now, Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2, Alex Seguy is too far away.
Great battling at the moment there. I'm sure Mark, who's probably at work or something like that, because Mark's always been the main, obviously the man that's been bringing it to Alex this season. I'm sure he'd be loving to be in this battle, this with these two gladiators this evening. He's probably listening to this from work, or hopefully he's all good and not, unfortunately, like our producer that's under the weather, like a lot of people are lately. This is that battle. They dropped Johan, that's currently in P3, by 13 seconds now. This is the two-horse battle, and it's really, really good that Gregors has stepped up to this, really. He's filled the shoes, I think, currently of Mark, and is bringing this challenge to Alex right now.
There's a move. Alex Seguy is in the lead, but Radicki Gregor keeps him behind. So they are going side by side. Retifilio, but this time Alex is ahead. He's all car hand going through Curva Grande. But now Radecki will be on a slipstream. I'm sure he wants this place back as soon as possible. He tries there to go on the inside, but it's impossible. So he moves on the outside through Variante della Roggia. Maybe the switchback move. No, he can't, so he stays behind. And with dirty air, this might be job done for Alex Iguia.
Can't let him go too far down the road. Alex is a difficult target to try to pull it, to reel in. Late in a race, too, with 6 laps to go. So use that DRS toe to your advantage and burn everything you possibly can. Got to catch him through Ascari here as closely as possible, no overtaking, but then get a good run through Parabolica and then try that main straight with the DRS advantage. Try to get him in turn 1. If he doesn't start catching up soon, Alex pulls it. That's Alex's race win.
Knowing how fast Alex Iguia is, I'm sure that Radecki will try to throw anything that he has on him in order to come back and take this win. Now,
yeah, Radecki wants this. I mean, oh, look at that Alex gap already. You start that pull, but this is it. DRS toe, you're going to get it going down a little bit, probably about 2/10 as you get in turn 1. Too far back, I'd have to say, for an overtake.
He's using all the power that he has, all the electric power, and he pulls down alongside. Side by side, Alex will have the inside on next corner, but a switchback of dreams for Gregor. It's not of dreams because he have not overtaken the Spanish driver. But now on slipstream again through Curva Grande. He's close. He's closer than ever through here. He will now pull on the inside. No, he doesn't. But this time he's ahead. Going through Variante della Roggia. Side by side. There's no way they will go side by side. And they touched. And they touched.
Oh, through Regola. That's turn 4 and 5. That's eager. He wanted that place back. It might have been the wrong place at the wrong time. Look at the replay there. 2 into this corner does not work.
I just said,
Alex, yes. Oof.
That was the commentator's curse from me. Oh, and we lost a beautiful battle. Biggles, I'm sure this incident will be investigated. I'm curious what you think.
Keep an eye on that one for sure. The stewards have 5 laps to dictate this one. Obviously, the 5 seconds, or if there will be any penalty, it will be issued after the race. That means that it'll be dictated, obviously, who's going to win it. It'll be between those 2 drivers. But then again, Johann's now 4 seconds and change down the road. So perhaps if there is a 5-second penalty issued here, Johann could be looking at a P2.
What do you think? Racing incident, or should Radecki be penalized? Or
you need to look at it like, as Martin Brundle and stuff would say, you need to look at it from different angles and stuff like that too, because we're looking at obviously from a spectator cam, but we need to be on board the drivers. We need to see if there's enough space and stuff like that. There's a lot of things to dictate. That's the fantastic team here at Any Store Racing that have to make those executive decisions. They're our Michael Massey, and so let them do their best work, and we'll just broadcast it the best we can.
Talking about them, the incident is now under investigation.
Yeah, I would imagine it has to be under investigation because it's potentially a race win between those 2 gladiators this evening. And also, remember, too, that also comes into play there, and even Victor. Victor's about 5.2 seconds off the race leader. So this could be really hurtful for those any of the Mr. Gregor and Alex. Like, if any of those get a penalty, then oof, that's potentially maybe even a podium gone.
I'm really curious, what are our stewards going to say? Oh, and there's a spin. There's another spin.
Yeah,
what's Schlogel?
And there's Van der Blosser we're watching at the moment. At the moment, if I say at the moment one more time, throw me out of the commentary box. Kevin was saying he's Dutchy, fellow Dutchy. He's doing all right at the moment. He's lost 1 place so far from starting in P9. He's putting a lot of pressure right now on Sebastian. Now, Sebastian up ahead there has gained 5 positions in this race and doing a fantastic job into the crucial points-paying position. But then again, he's got to be looking in his rearview mirrors right now because the Flying Dutchman wants to fly past him through Parabolica. And if you do get that overtake there, that'll be okay. That depends on the activation point. Who's going to get the DRS back? And the classic overtake into turn 1.
And he pulls alongside, going through Retifilio. He will have the outside on the first corner, but the inside on the second one. But Alaric Van de Bos with the soft tires just has the advantage. I'm keeping an eye on Paulo Lopez because he has set the personal best and he is on the freshest tires right now. And he's also the fastest car on track. So he might get to overtake Victor Bolea. I don't think he has time to get to the podium, to get to Johan Roussel. But maybe a 4th place is on the cards.
That's true. I'm just getting some information there from down at the team of Joe. And apparently that something has completely blocked his visor and he couldn't see anything.
Because
So he's at the box and they've had to try to get rid of that from whatever is on his visor, aka, well, on the virtual world, of course, his monitor turned off. There you go. But I was trying to hype it up in a virtual world of racing. It's the same thing. You couldn't see anything, put it that way.
Because, sorry for interrupting, but it's a race incident. So the steward decision is a race incident between Alex Eguia and Radecki Gregors.
There it is. Max Mosi, Michael Massey has said, guys, it's a motor race. So there it is. So, yep. Greg Radecki this could be his first race win of the season. Taking Steelers one away from Alex. He's going to be absolutely stoked. Can't be complaining to the marshals later on. Be doing a Toto Wolff or anything like that. It's dictated it's done. They've declared that as a racing incident. Good on them. That's the rules. And that could be his first race win. Obviously, Alex is still going to be pretty good in the championship there. With Mark not here today, steal any points away from him. But of course, racing drivers like to win races, don't they? To get a few more trophies on their shelves. Today won't be his day. Today will be Gregor's.
Still 4.5 between the first servers, but yeah, there's no time. There's absolutely no time. But anyways, Alex Eguia has recovered 1.5 seconds in the last 2 laps. He's absolutely rapid. He's 1 second a lap faster than Radecki. Yes, we're seeing maybe a move there in the background. Was that a lap car or was that an overtake?
Good question. Penultimate lap. Sorry, my telemetry just went zapping like it just had to catch up to itself in the last 10 seconds. Track map, it's fine.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah. Now, Hans Google is not a very good drive for him today. You might want to tear out that stamp in his passport here in Italy because he's dropped 6 places this evening. He's going to be finishing outside the points unless he get an overtake done.
Paulo Lopez is now less than a second behind Victor Bolea, so yes, I've said 4th place is on the cards. Can Paulo Lopez, he has DRS now, or no, he doesn't?
No, he's on, oh, yeah, well, not there. They actually do get it here. Go through a scurry, we'll see.
Maybe he just forgot to open it because he was less than a second to Victor
Right,
Bolea, but
Portuguese
anyways.
drive up. Here we go. This is it. I mean, you're on the last lap essentially now. So you're going to make a break. You're going to get a good exit out of out of Parabolica, and then get an overtake into turn 1. You might not have another opportunity. Unless you try to risk it for the biscuit, obviously, into Regatta. And we saw what happens if you don't get it right there. He's got the DRS open.
Will he send the dive bomb? Will he dive bomb it? Will Paulo Lopez send it? No, he doesn't. He just backs out. Stays behind Victor Bolea, but now has another chance on the slipstream, but he's too far away.
You could try to get him into... Well, he is also... That's a Daniel Ricciardo move, obviously, if you can do it here in turn 4. That's going to be absolutely last of the late breakers, but he's too far back.
Lick the stump and send it, but he doesn't send it. Stays behind. He has another chance there through Variante Ascari. If he just stays close enough through here, we're seeing there's some moves between positions 9 and 10th. Sorry,
Ascari's really, really hard to overtake, mate. You got to be side by side really before you approach Ascari, and so it's going to be risking it for the net. You can't. I mean, and then the straight line, it's very difficult to get an overtake done. But look at this man. He knows how to get an overtake done. He's overtaken the champion, and he's won the Italian Grand Prix here at Anistor Racing in our W12 series.
Our 4th different winner this season. We've had Luca Wunsch, then we've had Alex Eguia, then we have Mark Stevens, and now Radecki Gregors wins here at Monza. Alex Eguia in 2nd place, Russelio finishes 3rd, Victor Bolea 4th, Paulo Lopez in 5th place. Mark Johnston has gone under the radar, but has done a beautiful race to finish in 6th. Jungso Vale, after flying in lap 1, turn 1, now finishes in 7th, Hoffman in 8th. Then we are having Alaric van den Bos and Hannes Schlogel. Because I'm really looking forward to the interviews because I'm curious what Alex Seguin and Radecki Gregors have to say about the incident, and I hope that Radecki will enter our interviews.
Well, if he doesn't, the 70,000 Tifosi fans are not going to let him leave the track. He's going to be standing on the podium above them, of course. Podium celebrations are, once again, just above the main straight. So, yeah, they're not letting him leave unless he actually has an interview with us this evening. Congratulations. Exactly. A race win under his belt as you read through those names brilliantly, and you have to do it all over again.
Also, Johan Roussel, I think the Tifosi will be very, very happy because Johan Roussel finishes on the podium for the red team, for the prancing horse at Ferrari.
They do. And so, unfortunate situations for some of those drivers. Joe remembered it's such a fantastic qualifying performance and had technical issues and just dropped him way out of this race. Biggest gainers and losers, of course. Steve did pretty good there, gaining 5 positions, but Penny finishing in P12. Mark Johnson finishing in P6 outside the top 10 when he started qualifying. That's very good for him. Paulo as well. The 88 car finishing in P5. So very good drive there for the Portuguese. You saw that battling it out there with Victor. Yes, sir.
Who is your driver of the day?
Oh, don't ask me that. I'm going to have to pick a favorite.
I'm just curious.
Yes. Well, that's interesting. I'm giving it to the Portuguese driver there. The 27 motorsport driver there is my driver of the day. Actually, no. Whoops, sorry. I'm going to give it to our race leader, of course, because he had to defend against the defending champion, and he did it so well. Obviously, it's a racing incident as well, but if gap car, we've said it before. Alex is well aware of it. Him and Mark have been through those situations multiple times before. And otherwise you're going to be following a car around a track. If you don't want to be following a car around a track, you want to get an overtake done, and you have to risk it for the biscuit.
For me today is Joan Vale. He was flying in turn 1. He had no front wing and still finished up in 7th place. Beautiful race by the Spanish driver.
A good call. I completely forgot about him. Exactly. Right. Nothing slips by Mr. Ed. They're trying to herd out drivers, obviously, in for an interview. We know that for a fact that Ed really wants our race leader, a race winner, for an interview. But for now, we may very much have to speak to the man that we speak to almost every single week, doesn't it? It's like a deja vu scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to get our fantastic Spaniard, smooth operator Alex, in the interview box.
Yeah, it would have been awesome to sing the Smooth Operator song, but the netcode once again made it think.
Yeah, and by the way, Alex, just a real quick there. There is another Spaniard driver that drives with a picture of the Pope in his car. I was wondering if you do as well.
Who is it?
It's Carlos.
Oh.
Yes, my friend. You should know. He's a Spaniard. Anyway, there's two Spaniards obviously on the Formula 1 grid at the moment. But anyway, you are the Spaniard in the virtual world of any stall racing, and just missing out on a race win today. Go through everything. How was your race?
I had to switch strategy mid-qualifying. I started with I wanted to start with the medium tires and switch to the softs mid-race, but everyone was qualifying on soft, so I changed in the last moment. And then the race was kind of boring, to be honest, because I know that Radek and I were making a gap to P3, P4, and so on. And yeah, I tried to do an overcut. I thought it was 23 seconds, and I saw like 25 on the relative. So I dive in boxes to pit and hope getting ahead of him. But then I was quicker than him on medium tires. So just to play the patience game, and I think the netcode was a shame, but it was also very fun fighting around Monza.
And Reddy, were we going to get his name right correctly? He's essentially. Were you surprised you were battling him? Because usually, obviously, it's Mark. You two are going tooth and nail at it, and while everybody else is 10 seconds down the road. Were you surprised about his pace here in Monza?
I know he's fast. He's got also 5K I rating, so that's an objective number. Yeah, but it's I find it rare that he doesn't fight us every race, but I think he had more than 2 or 3 podiums. He has been battling in qualify. I think he's faster in qualifying than in race, but overall he's a very great driver. So yeah, we enjoy having a fight to every driver.
It's good. And today, the racing incident that potentially cost you the race win, already determined from the FIA that it was just a racing incident. Is that your views on that?
It's a race incident, yes. It's a netcode incident, so that doesn't happen in the real life. But yeah, it was very close. I think if the netcode didn't happen, we could have made the corner side by side. And yeah, as in races before, we had like 5-10 laps fighting, and then an incident came. But yeah, it's race for fun in this league. It's also competitive for sure. But yeah, having fun it's the main objective, and we have had fun for sure. And I hope you as well commentating and viewing the race.
We always have fun when you watch you gladiators go around the track. I just wonder if you can have that same sort of remark if it comes down to the last race of the season and you guys are battling it out between 1 or 2 points to dictate the championship. I wonder if that's going to be as chilled as you guys generally are about these situations. But,
yeah,
anyway.
I think he's also very competitive, but he's very fair on track. So yeah, I hope we can fight till the last corner of the last lap of the championship.
I'd love to set it in the three-way battle between you guys when Mark comes back. I think that'll be fun. And a 3-horse race is always better than a 2-horse race.
Yep.
That'd be the spice in there. Alex, of course, I'm not sure if the other guys have any questions for you, but my final question to you would be: Can you do the smooth operator for us?
Only when I win.
Only when you win. Okay, that's a deal. Okay, good. Anyway,
or else when I win the championship, that will be a very big smooth operator.
Absolutely fantastic. I'd love to see that, mate. Well, you're on your way. That's for sure. Absolutely on your way. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry for stealing the spotlight there. You guys can't ask this our Spaniel gladiator leading the championship questions if you want. Ed? He looks like the only man that's happy to share the champagne with us up in the commentary box so far.
Yeah, I don't really know what to ask. How was the atmosphere? How were the tifosi?
Yeah, it was quite fun. Also, the track was very hot compared to the testing. I don't know if tifosi had something to do with that, but yeah, it's also very fun to drive around Monza with the high curves and the high speed. So yeah, it's very fun.
And another question. Sorry, cutting in again. I thought I'd done questions, but I haven't because I just remembered. Mark was mentioning this a couple of weeks back, I think. Well, is there a massive difference between the softs and mediums?
I think there was a bigger gap with cold temperature, but today was very equal. For example, I think Radecki P1 was faster on soft than on mediums. I think it depends on the track and the temperature and everything, but I find it today to be very equal. In fact, if I see the lap times, I think it's 21.7 with the soft at the start, and then we went in 22.0 battling Radecki. So yeah, it was pretty even.
Yep.
Excellent.
And I think, as I'm hearing the information, pretty much this has been it for our stream today here from Monza. Alex, congratulations for your win. You have done an absolutely amazing race, so congratulations on the win and for leading the championship. Biggles, do you have any last words for this stream?
Pineapple and pizza. That's it. Yeah, but obviously, thank you, massive team, Any Store Racing, and obviously, Geza, Gerald, that's had to put this on, and he's under the weather. He's not feeling good. He just should be in bed and go to bed, mate. But thank you very much. And obviously, thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Can I ask if I had the fastest lap?
I'm just confirming real quick there. 21.3. Yes, you do, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
For today's stream here at Monza, as Bigas said, thank you everyone for watching this race. Until the next one, take care, guys, and see you next Monday.